How's it going, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here. I've got a dead cat microphone, and we're at the Quilter Labs Summer Block Party. Let's go over to where we hear the music, and let's check out what exactly is going on. Follow me. Exhibitors and companies from all across Southern California and maybe from a little bit farther have come to set up on this very, very hot and slightly windy day in Costa Mesa to show off what they do. Look at all of them. You all know this guy. This is my buddy John from Oddfellow. John, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh man, it feels like forever since we last saw each other.
It's been a while, but October? NAM?
Something like that?
Something, yeah.
I don't even remember. The days blur together. How's the day been so far?
It's been good. It's been pretty cool. We're just chilling here, meeting people. The music's cool. It's too hot.
Yeah, it is a little hot. So you guys are showing off a couple pedals here today. You got your Caveman, which everybody knows and loves, and you got the Bishop too.
Yeah.
Tell us just briefly about the Bishop.
The Bishop is medium gain, medium gain overdrive. Can't hear myself over the band. It's got some cool features, different clipping than the Caveman. Completely different kind of overdrive, but still very versatile. Has really nice, kind of retains the clean sound of the guitar, but just adds that little. And contrary to what
the control set might suggest, it's not 100% a clone.
Not
if you catch
close.
my meaning.
Oh, people think it's a clone, huh?
Yeah.
It's not even close. I mean, there's nothing clone about it. The reason, well, I let go, and then it has a treble. It's labeled treble. It's actually a tone control. It used to be a treble control, but it never was a clone, and it never will be. And if I made a clone, you guys would know it.
Yeah, I think everybody would know. Like,
yeah.
just I'm telling you, it's a matter of time. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Nah.
I have some ideas, but I don't want to do it because everyone's doing it. You know?
I like the way you think. So as far as the future for Oddfellow, what's on the horizon? Can you give us any clues?
I can't get into too much detail.
All right, we're gonna talk off camera, and you guys will just have to wait.
Yeah.
I don't know why this guy has a bass in his hand, because this dude is probably one of the best guitar players out there that I know. This is, yeah? You agree with me?
I have a bass. I'm a bass player now, right?
No, you're not.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, this is Kenny. He's with Xotic, and this dude is one of the tastiest players I know. If you haven't checked out some of the Xotic videos that are coming out these days, he makes these things sound like the gold that they're made out of.
They're very golden sounding indeed.
So how are you enjoying the show so far?
So far, so good. I'm enjoying the heat,
We have a cool
but the breeze
right?
though, that's just nice. The tent is definitely helping.
Yes.
And I live in North Hollywood, and that whole fire and the nasty
Yeah, that's right. There's a fire going on up there. This stuff, I played this earlier, and I think this is probably one of the best, I'm going to say it properly for the F crew, S-style guitars that I've played.
I wonder what you're talking about, but
You don't know?
I don't know.
Oh, man. So give us a little rundown of what you guys do with Xotic guitars.
Yeah, let me put this down real quick.
Kenny's going to put the bass down.
Xotic was actually started off as a guitar company about 15 years ago, 16 years ago, by this one builder, and then he started the Xotic name, and then he started off as a bass company, and then he's branched out to guitars, and then obviously the pedals and everything kind of took off a little sooner. And the first model is called the XS series, which is again the S style but with an exotic taste to it, or twist. A smaller horn, a little smaller body in general, with different configurations. You could do a Wilkinson bridge, Goto, a vintage bridge, stainless steel frets, whatever configuration. Basically, not really an exact custom order, but we do have many options to choose from for our XS series. Kind kind of like a super strat.
Whoa, we're gonna have to beep that out there.
Okay, super blah. So this year, last year we released the XSC series, which is the California Classic that we call it. Is this standard model? If you could see this back to back, side to side, this one's a tiny bit smaller than this. So this is our newer model called, again, the California Classic XSC. We're doing this whole relic thing going on with a nitro finish. It's okay, we could do nitro because we only build about 10 guitars, maximum a month. So we could legally shoot nitro and have no problem. And we do have this thing called a roasted process on the maple. A lot of companies have been doing it, like Sir, and now Fender's doing it, and all these other companies. And acoustic guitar companies have been doing it already too. What it does is you basically put a wood into a high temperature, low oxygen rate oven, and you cook it for about 3-4 hours. And what it does is it takes out the moisture out of the wood and freezes out the molecular elements and whatnot inside the wood. Basically, it's a fast aging process. So if you're lucky enough to own or play an old 60s or 50s F-style guitars, the wood already sounds has that dry, really nice high roll-off tone to it, as to a brand new maple, which still has the moisture and all that stuff. The tree still, the neck still wants to be a tree, so it keeps moving around and changing tones. Now we don't have to do that because we basically froze it by putting it in the oven, if that makes any sense.
We froze it by putting it in the oven. I just want to put that out there.
Put it out there. So it's got a nice high roll off, nice little worn in tone, and then it's really stable, and then it's got a really quicker, it has a lot quicker attack than, believe it or not, than a standard maple neck.
Which is a strange thing to think because everybody already thinks maple snap.
Yeah, you gotta play it to believe it, but it's got, as soon as you hit the note, it kind of pops out like quicker, slightly quicker. And that just kind of makes it really different from any other manufacturers out there.
And it looks beautiful too. That's always the nice touch, kind of that copper glow to it.
Yeah, and then we have it in different options of neck, 3 different options of neck and radius sizes. The options are a little bit limited as to the XS series, but we want to keep it more of a traditional thing. So we can't put a Floyd Rose, no, we can't do certain pickups. This is what we do, and take it or leave it kind of thing. Our price range is around $2,500. That's our start off, which is a pretty good deal for a quality like this for $2,500. It is expensive, but the craftsmanship and the quality is way up there. So
considering other options with the same kind of feature set, you're looking at least $3,000 to $3,500.
At least with other manufacturers that we're not going to drop any names, but those companies will charge a little bit more extra than us, and we're a lot more local.
Well, I've played them, I believe them, and it sounds great. I can't wait to play more. All right, you guys recognize this guy. This is my buddy Aaron from Boss. Brother, good to see you again, man. So you guys are the big fish in this small pond, and I love it. You know I love it.
Well, we don't think of ourselves as the big fish. Like, you gotta, I was just talking to a couple of the other guys here because, there's a lot of guys are starting up their own company. And I think everyone forgets that at one point, there was only 3 or 4 guys at the beginning.
Yeah, totally.
Boss and Roland.
And if I just want to do a quick plug for you guys, because in an issue of Tone Report Weekly, there's actually an interview with the president of Boss. That is probably one of the most revelatory interviews I've ever read. I want to meet the guy because he just seems like he gets it. He knows what is supposed to be going on in the company. He knows what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, he's been doing this for a very long time. I mean, a lot of times, people will talk about us back, kind of during our golden era. He was the president in Helmlet back then, and some of the coolest stuff that we made. Obviously, he's the engineer that designed the SDE, 2000, 3000 rack delays.
Right.
And, so the guy knows gear really, really, really well. And it's cool to have him as my boss and to have him in charge of the company because he's, basically he's been doing some of this stuff like the SY300, the ES8, the DD500. That's basically all under his helm,
There's actually a president of a company that actually cares about the tone and the product that's coming out.
And he's a guitar player too as well.
Which helps, which really helps. Now what you were playing just a little bit ago and what I'm going crazy about is the new Robin Ford Blues Cube tone capsule. just talk briefly about what that does, and let's get a little bit more of a sound clip, because this is, I know the kind of amp this is going for, and it's got it.
Totally. So it's with Robin Ford. We worked with Robin Ford. Robin Ford uses a very specialized boutique amplifier, very, very expensive amp that's pretty much impossible for anyone to really own these days, because there's only a few of them that are out there. And so we sat with him and we worked on our sound and turning the Blues Cube into basically his amplifier. And how it works is that we basically go through and we're attacking not just the sound of the amp, but also how the amplifier feels. And so we create these little circuits, basically, they're called tone capsules. And it allows you to put them into the back of the amplifier and change the stock sound to a completely different type of amp.
And my favorite thing about them is they actually look like little tubes. Very cool.
And so I can buy an amplifier, but then, you know, for a few $100s more, I can swap it out and change it to a different amplifier. You know, most of the capsules, we're going to have them run around probably from $199 to $299, depending on if it's a signature model or not.
For a couple extra $100, you have one amp that behaves one way, and then put this little capsule in, and you got a completely different amplifier.
Exactly, and that's the thing that I want people to remember, is that, or at least to get when they check these out, is it's not just the sound. A lot of guys have been able to capture and copy a sound. It's the actual feel of the amplifier that we're now going after. So a guitar player can tell, like, if something's digital, you can pick that up in a half a second. You play it, it doesn't even have to be a very experienced guitar player. They know that it's digital and they're like, it doesn't feel right. And so one of the things that we were focused on this time around was the feel of the amplifier. Make sure that it feels and reacts the way that you or I as a guitar player would like it to be.
Well, let's hear a little bit of this.
So you can hear it.
Guys, I'm here with Mason from Vertex FX. Mason, how's it going, man? It's been a little while since we've seen each other.
Yeah, like what, maybe a month?
Maybe something like that. But it's awesome to see the demo board here again, and you're gearing up for some pretty cool new things. Just tell us briefly what's on the horizon.
So we got a couple of different things. The first thing is right down here, which is the Steel String Clean Drive, and it's based on the Dumble Steel String Singer, which is maybe the less known single channel clean amp that was used by Eric Johnson on like Venus Isle, and was used by John Mayer on Continuum and Stevie Ray on Texas Flood. And it's just a super big, fat, clean, kind of mid-range sort of pedal. And it can do a little bit of low gain distortion, but it's really more about just adding fatness and volume and texture to your existing sound. It can work great with a clean amp, it can work great with a dirty amp. But that's what we're working on, and we have Steel String Singer #1 in our shop that we've been using to voice this, and so I'd say we're about 90% close to the real thing.
Very cool.
Secondly, we have the Vertex battery power supply.
This is something I know a lot of people have been waiting for.
Right. So this is something that guys like Josh Smith and Michael Landau had been using for a while, where what we were doing is kind of improving upon this design that Robert Bradshaw had done several years ago for Michael Landau, where he had gotten some battery clips and allowed them to be wired into pedals.
And that's a great outtake right now.
Yeah. And in so doing, you could have certain pedals that sounded better on batteries used in a pedal board context. So we wanted to make it a little bit more durable than just having exposed clips off the board and put it into an actual enclosure. So we made it so with a single thumb screw, you can release the top and you have 4 batteries there available, and they wire out just like a standard Voodoo Lab power supply would. You have all your individual leads that go into your pedals and power them. And it also gets a feed from your power supply, so it knows when to turn the batteries on and off so you don't waste batteries when your board's not in use. And another feature that we're building into it is allowing it to take over for any dead batteries. So if one of these batteries dies, the power supply will take over. You're not without power, even on your prized overdrives that only sound good on batteries. At least you can make it through the song before you change.
Very cool, very cool. So how far out would you say you are on that?
So the design's done. It's just a matter of getting into production. So I'm hoping that we'll have both of these products, the steel string clean and the battery box, available in September.
Very awesome, very cool. More stuff from Vertex coming in hot.
It's not loud or anything.
It's not too loud. It's,
What?
What?
Huh?
What? Anyway, this joker right here is one of my good friends. This is Paul. He's been working on my guitars for years, ever since I moved to the OC. And the cool thing is, he shares shop space with the legendary Grover Jackson, right over there. That guy in the orange hat. Paul, it's good to see you after too long, man.
Thank you, sir.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Grover and what you're helping out with, and some of the cool things that Grover is still doing after all these years.
Definitely, yeah. So Grover is known for a lot of his innovations way back in the day, in the late 70s, late 80s. He actually sold Charvel Jackson, 1990, something like that. And he's been doing odd jobs and working at a lot of different companies until now. About 4.5 years ago, he started up his own company again, which is GJ2. So GJ2 is a rebirth of a lot of his famous designs. So like we do the Concorde, which is like a flying V, which is right down there. And then we also do like his Glendora. He's basically known for making super strats. And he was the guy that put a Floyd Rose and a humbucker in a Strat, and it just blew everybody's mind. So he's still doing that same stuff today. We have about 6 different models, and the most awesome model and newest model is this bad boy right here. And this is called the Zora. And a Zora is his take on a modern Les Paul. He's owned many 58 and 59 and 60 Les Pauls, and he's experienced all the glory of the old claim to fame. And so what he's done is he's taken this guitar and redesigned it and kind of modernized it to today's standards. So we have actually 3 different models of this guitar. One is a flat top, this one is a dome top, so it's a fully radius top. It's actually curved. And then we also do a full-blown 3/4 inch maple cap arch top. So like traditional Les Paul, classic, custom. So, but we do everything in-house, from the woodworking to the paint to making the pickups. We make the pickup rings out of phenolic. We make our knobs out of aluminum. These are his flying saucer knobs, which are pretty unique. And then on this model, we're using a Tone Pros locking tunematic bridge and a Tone Pros locking tailpiece. It's a rosewood board, Proloid inlays. We do use hip shot open gear locking tuners. And then we do a 2-piece center seam joint, maple neck, and a 1-piece mahogany back. So it's a pretty stellar guitar.
It looks stellar. I love it. I think that so many good things could come out of that.
Big time.
And when do you think that finally when do you think those are going to go into production? Because you were saying this was a prototype,
correct,
right?
Yeah. So production for the flat top and the dome top model are starting next month. And then for NAMM, we're debuting the full arch top. That's going to be the real legit holy grail. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
The best part about this is their shop is literally 15 minutes from my house. It's the best. there's your taste of the first annual Quilter Labs summer block party. It's hot. There's hot licks coming out of that parking lot. I'm going to put this dead cat away, put this camera away, and head back in there and check out some more stuff. I'll see you guys real soon. Sean Pierce Johnson. Cheers.